Hey guys, I am Big and Scary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in the top left-hand corner Crowbar from Team Echo. He is our red Zerg, and in the top right we have AluXeZ, our blue Protoss. I'm going to go with Alex. Just Alex. It's so easy to pronounce. There's no weird U's and Z's and other letters that you rarely see in names normally. But hey, you know what? They're perfectly well mannered. We're on, I believe this is Shakuras Plateau. It's one of the nice maps. It's very cool because you have a nice narrow choke leading down to a much larger choke, and then you have the destructible debris leading off into the third. So everything's kind of collected right here in this common ground, where all the holds are, where all the cool defenses take place. So very nice. I like the layout of it, how very streamlined it is. First drone coming out from Crowbar, just going to be scouting out to see exactly where his opponent is going to be spawning, but Alex succeeds in getting his probe to the correct top left position just right off the bat, seeing that the drone is indeed leaving, and also knows that the first place he needs to throw down a pylon is right here, which is kind of cool because, I mean, he's got his first pylon in position to do that forge fast expand that's very standard, but he also wants to deny the first hatchery coming out of Crowbar. So a good play there. Probably going to buy him a little bit of time, especially because we're at the 15 supply park and we don't see a pool at all. There goes the pool. Oh wow, but he canceled it because he just doesn't want the probe to see it, but he's going to know that that probe's going to scout it eventually. Looks like a drone is going to be chasing the probe all the way around, but he's eventually going to scout that indeed that spawning pool does go down. A drone coming out from Crowbar's home base just to start working on that pylon. He still has a little bit of ways to go before the money starts, but he really wants to throw down an expansion right away, and every minute that's wasted trying to take down that pylon is basically a minute that Alex doesn't have to worry about the Zerg out macroing him. He's got that forge finished completely, and no Nexus is on the way. I expect Alex is going to throw that down. Wow, look at this. Crowbar throwing down 2 gas almost instantly as soon as the I guess that might be a reaction. I don't know. We don't see anything that could necessitate so much gas. 2 gas this early signifies that there's going to be a very heavy, fast tech play. He's got 400 minerals saved up. What is he going to spend that minerals on? Not Zerglings, because we don't see any Zerglings right now. We don't see Queens. We don't see anything at all. We got a hatchery going down just to the south of, oh my goodness. Okay, so Alex has got his main ramp right here, and it's not, the wall off is not finished at all. That first photon cannon is going to be very exposed because there's no room for a protective building just to the south of it, and then you're going to need another gateway and then maybe a pylon to finish off that wall off. On the Crowbar is going to be taking advantage of that because he's got the Roach Warren on the way. He's already grabbed both of his gases, already going to be mining off of it. We have 100 gas on the way. Metabolic boost is not being started because he wants to save that gas for those roaches, and once this Roach Warren finishes, those roaches are going to be instantly created all the way across the map just to the south of that main base. It's going to be fantastic. Also, the hatchery is very aggressively positioned to the south, which is the opposite direction that the probes will be leaving the base for a scout to see if there's anything like these shenanigans. And because the hatchery is so very close, the creep is actually going to be probably more than halfway to the ramp, and you can position spine crawlers, or if you build a queen, get the queen to throw down a creep tumor, and those spine crawlers can be very much within range of all those buildings. And the photon cannons that are usually safely tucked behind structures and safe from Zerglings and roaches because they can outrange them, both of them have 7 range. Both photon cannons and spine crawlers have 7 range, so the spine crawlers are going to be able to outrange the photon cannons insofar as being able to strike specific structures. The gateway is going to be very much exposed because these photon cannons were out of range. The gig is up though. Alex succeeds in getting a probe in behind the mineral line for the natural, poked his head up into the main, sees that there's absolutely nothing being built down at the natural, is going to know that this is going to be a 1-base roach all in, which is normally destined to fail. However, the clever positioning of the hatchery on the low ground is going to give Crowbar an edge, which probably will give him an edge enough to actually edge himself back into this matchup. Very much behind on harvester count, 19 to 33. Crowbar definitely needs to get in, knock down this door, crush this saturation. This is definitely an all-in. There's really no going back from this. Crowbar has got vision for the high ground from that Overlord, which is nicely positioned. Even though that first Photon Cannon did finish on the low ground, none of the roaches did go down, one of them barely surviving with 23 health, but forcing the cancel on the second one. You can see Warp Gate Tech is just now started, chrono boosting out that Sentry. Alex desperately needs to get out a lot of Sentries so that he can throw down force fields and hold off an impending push. Look at that, a Nidus Worm being built back at home so that the queens, which can be produced at the lair, can also warp in onto the maybe low ground to speed up the creep, or more likely we have this clever Overlord over on the left side will be able to create a Nidus just to the left of that. Oh, this could be a major issue for Crowbar if time progresses to the point where Alex succeeds in getting some units out of the Stargate, which he just now started. Photon Cannons just slugging back and forth between the spine. It looks like the spine is going to lose. He's a little bit behind on health, but there goes the clutch transfuse from the queen, keeping that spine crawler alive so that it can succeed in pushing down. And now it looks like both the gateway and the pylon are destined to fall, as well as the sentry, which is overextending himself, is going to be taking more than a handful of damage from the two spine crawlers, now 3 on the low ground. Just a handful of roaches right now, but more roaches can be produced back at home. It looks like loading them up. 3 roaches in the Nidus Worm. The Nidus Worm pops in the main base, and those roaches begin to stream straight off into the home cup. But what they really need to do is push forward, either take out that economy or more likely the Stargate. 2 Void Rays on the way. If they get out on the field, this could be a significant amount of problem, because the only thing that Crowbar has as far as anti-air is concerned is queens. And how many queens does he have? Just the 1. It's going to be eaten alive by just a single Void Ray, let alone 2 of them. However, those probes were pulled, and they're going to get eaten alive. 25, 26, 30 workers killed. We can see that the huge harvester advantage that Alex had just a second ago is down to 9 to 19, and now we have 6 roaches have succeeded in making their way in. Will start doing damage to that Stargate in just a moment. However, they've arrived just a moment too late. The Void Ray is now out on the field, is going to be targeting down those roaches, so now their days are numbered. However, they have basically a free reign to this entire base. They've completely crippled the economy. 4 harvesters total in this entire base. It looks like Alex pulled all the workers from the natural as well. All the roaches have made their way up into the main base and will be targeting down that Stargate. However, they wasted just a little bit of time playing Ring Around the Rosie with this Stalker with the handful of probes left, and that bought Alex enough time to get out a second Void Ray, which is going to be a huge boon to him, as he's going to clean up all these roaches, and then he's going to turn his eye down here to these static defenses, which cannot fire up. The spines are going to go down, and probably this whole installation. And now Alex, who doesn't have any money, but he spent all of his money on probes, and he's chrono boosting them out. He went from, I think he had 4 just a second ago. He's almost doubled that number. However, Crowbar, he's very comfortably on 1 base. He's got a fantastic 1 base back at home. Single lair, as well as a second queen coming out. If he gets enough queens up, and those queens accumulate energy, he's got 2 in this Nidus network, which is going to pop him back at home, but I think they were the ones from here. So just 2 out on the field right now, but he's producing another 2, and that anti-air, if he can keep all those queens bundled up, will be more than a match for these Void Rays, especially if they accumulate enough energy to transfuse. And I think 60, yeah, that guy has enough energy. Does this one? No, he does not. So 3 queens, one of them which has enough energy to transfuse, is more than a match for 2 Void Rays. There goes the transfuse on 1. It looks like one of the Void Rays has to pull back. I think if the other one had committed, he might have succeeded in taking down 1, but it would have been awfully close. Crowbar doing what he needs to do, get his economy back up and running, speed it back up and running. Alex just showing you how powerful Chrono Boost can be when you have nothing to do but build probes. 19 to 21. He's almost quadrupled the amount of probes he has out on the field, and look at all those photon cannons. This front door is very much secure, so that's okay. We'll just use the back door. Nidus Network, once again, going up on the left side. This time it's just Queen and Lings, because Crowbar is the one who's trying to spend his money up, but he doesn't have the larva needed to spin down all that money. He's got 700 minerals, 600 gas. He really just should get out some infestors, should get out Hydras is really what I'd go to, because this is the only thing that you really have to worry about are all those Void Rays. Nice transfuse on one of those queens, keeping it alive. However, it was a losing battle. Might have succeeded in taking down one of the Void Rays. I think he agrees with me. The queens take down one of the Void Rays. It looks like the other one's going to be slugging match, but the fully charged Void Ray is going to clean up those queens Speaking of cleanup, it looks like the roaches and zerglings are still just having a heyday with some of those probes. I don't even want to look at the workers killed tab. 48 of them. That is ridiculous. 6 more workers on the way. 21 to 18. Currently in the favor of Crowbar. But remember, Crowbar's still just on that one base. He does have a natural up, but it's not saturated at all. Here comes the first 6 drones down there, and we're going to see a massive jump in his mineral income in short amount of time. And those queens, this is pure minerals right now, 150 minerals, and they're so very good with anti-air because everything that Crowbar needs to defend is on creep. This hatchery, this little installation right here, is a strong point that can really, really help him keep pressure on Alex, because he doesn't want to give Alex too much of an opportunity to get back in this game. And Alex has done a good job of salvaging what little defenses he has left, but his infrastructure is just in shambles. I mean, he's got 3 gateways, and that's it. A handful of probes left alive and a single void ray. If he pushes out and gets caught in the wrong sort of engagement, I don't expect anything to survive for very long. Those stalkers just doing a little bit of harassment damage because they don't have detection up on that high ground. But really, this harassment is all that Alex can hope to do right now, because Crowbar is just slowly working his way up farther and farther in the lead, taking advantage of the fact that he has a very strong economic advantage. And by the strong economic advantage, I'm not referring to harvesters, because they're pretty much neck and neck, 30 over 32. The advantage is that Alex really is contained. He can't feel comfortable pushing out because there's so many queens out on the field right now, and he doesn't know how many roaches. Those stalkers, though, are engaging at the perfect angle. It looks like 1-2 transfuses on that spine crawler will keep it alive. However, those stalkers are capable of pulling back and pushing off halfway across the map. It looks like the void ray has found the hatchery on the top left corner, and there's no creep connecting the third to the natural. So those queens, even though they can teleport right back home, they're going to be so very, very slow getting to that third. The Nidus network will not arrive in time. It looks like the cancel on the hatchery and not a cancel on the Nidus network. So overall, a net loss for Crowbar, but every time that third aggression isn't as big as a natural aggression. If AluXeZ had decided to push out and hit the natural instead and could have taken down all of those probes, that would have been an absolutely massive loss to Crowbar. Instead, Alex just couldn't feel confident enough to push into that natural and maybe get surrounded, and so he's going to be pulling back. But man, Alex is definitely back in this game. I thought he was completely done, but we're back. He's got a harvester advantage now, and he's beginning to work on his tech. He's got that +1 done. Robotics facility and Twilight Council on the way, and it looks like he's going to have no issues with cleaning up this small little installation with all those stalkers, just allowing the void ray now with no anti-air in this area, free range of that. And all of a sudden Crowbar's the one who's on the back foot. All of a sudden Crowbar's the one who's feeling kind of hemmed, and what is he going to be doing? He's going to go back to what worked best. He's getting another Nidus network out. Where is that one? Oh, it's over by the third to protect that third. Probably a very good play right there. And also he's got that infestor pit out. Pathogen glands is done, and 7 infestors are going out. And if those infestors get some burrow, we could see pretty much every form of harassment coming out of Zerg on this play. That would be absolutely phenomenal. More likely we'll see some fungal growths, maybe some infested Terran to help deal with that very, very pesky void ray. 16 kills on that void ray, definitely paid for himself right now. Resources lost tab, totally neck and neck. And man, that's just because Alex is really good at scrambling. There goes the massive load up in all these units. The Nidus network pops out on the third. I just barely saw the dot on the mini-map. Really good play there. The Zergling's going to work on the Nexus, and there goes some infested Terran right down. I don't think he knew the Void Ray was going to be there, but he suspected it, and those infested Terrans succeed in finally taking down the last vestige of air from Protoss. 2 fungal growths go down on that nice juicy bundle of stalkers, but all they do is buy time for Crowbar to retreat into the Nidus network and pop up into the main base. Oh, what a fantastic play. Oh man, those infested Terrans are going to be popping out. Is going to be absolutely crushing the Twilight Council, the robotics facility. 2 of the 3 gateways are going to go down, and it looks like the infestors immediately just retreat back into the Nidus network. Nidus Worm, they're done. They don't have any more energy. There's no reason for them to stick around, and this is just Crowbar showing you what it means to be cost effective, because he's realizes that with this sort of super low econ game that he's playing, he needs to be cost effective. He can't afford to lose those queens. He loaded them up. He can afford to lose the roaches and the infested Terran, but not the infestors. And so that's why he was loading them up, kind of giving on the fight just a little bit early. 2 robotics facilities en route for Alex, but all of a sudden he's missing half of his gas income. The gas income that he was going to be relying on to get out, and the Colossus really that he was going to be teching towards. So now, Alex, do you rebuild the Nexus back up here in the main, or do you push out to take a third? It looks like he's going for the third, but Lord knows he's got enough gas he could take his natural again, no problem at all, or his main again, no problem at all. Speaking of third, Crowbar has succeeded in grabbing his. He's got a queen there. He's got the creep finally connecting them, as well as a nice network. Got a nice little armada of infestors. Crowbar is very, very, very secure right now. I think Alex is going to have to do something desperate just to stay in this game, and it looks like he's congealing his army down on the middle ground, and we'll be pushing off shortly into Crowbar's main base, because really, Alex, every second that goes by, Crowbar is just going to be pulling farther and farther ahead. He's got a nice money composition of those infestors and roaches, and he's proven to be so very good at harassing. Alex is going to be on eggshells right now. The psychological warfare that Crowbar's been waging with so many Nidus networks, he's got to be paranoid. And will he be able to hold on to this third? Does he have to worry about his main at all? He's really got to get that gas income so that he can afford to produce off of the two robotics facilities that he has down at the bottom. But right now we can just see one Colossus coming out, and I think Alex wishes that he had spent the extra money for that robotics facility on something else, something a little bit more useful that he could use right now. 12 drones going out right now. Crowbar just solidifying the economic advantage that he has by having that third, and then the main being crushed from Alex. And another Nidus network coming up. Where is this one? It's just to the north of that third. It looks like baiting. Crowbar's trying to get Alex's main force to follow behind him. I'm really surprised to see that Alex doesn't have any sentries at all mixed in with this force. There goes the Nidus worm popping out, and here comes all the Zerglings, it looks like. The main force from Crowbar back at the main base, not going to be doing any damage. It looks like the Nidus worm gets picked off pretty quickly, and like I said, no sentries into this mix. Really, it's just Stalkers and Zealots, which are your major damage dealers, and it looks like Zealots are going to be the replacement for the sentries, like Day 9 was saying, where you have the meat shield that kind of hems the army into position. But will that be effective? I mean, the infestors with their fungal growths are going to absolutely chew alive all those zealots, especially if they can't get there. Nice fungal growths down on one of the two of the units. All of a sudden, the roaches coming in from the south side, but they have a bad concave, a bad engagement right there. And with those two Colossus, with their extended thermal lances, they're going to be doing quite a lot of damage to those roaches if the concave isn't just right and they're not supported by those infestors. So Crowbar wisely pulling back into the welcoming arms of those infestors, and hopefully buying enough time for him to get out a Spire so that he can get the Corruptors out on the field. But again, Alex, he needs to play the aggressor here. He can't sit back and macro just on two bases, because a fourth base is coming up for Crowbar. Crowbar is going to be outpacing him in macro, 47 over 36 right now. The mineral count is just absurd, and he's got so much gas, 900 gas just sitting around. Yeah, we have two Colossus on the field, but guess what? The Spire's done and 4 Corruptors are coming out. You think that number's going to be 4 Corruptors for very much longer? No. You're going to have a ridiculous number of Corruptors in just a couple of seconds, and you're going to have no Colossus out at all. Alex has a small window, a small window of when he can afford to push out right now. The Stalkers should support enough anti-air so that those Colossus could get out and could take out the current number of roaches. If Alex's push now, and actually the window is currently closing, he could have done some damage. He probably could have taken out that third. It would have been a hard-fought fight, but as this progresses, Alex is basically running out of time. There goes one fungal growth, keeping those Colossus at bay. Another 4 Corruptors coming out, but right now we only have 5 out on the field, and if those Corruptors decide to engage, these Colossus can definitely see themselves taking quite a lot of damage. Oh, the extended thermal lance is not done. I was wondering why they weren't taking those shots, but I looked at it. No, it's the damage that's yellow. It's not the range. I'm stupid. 5 Corruptors, though. This is a huge amount of damage that you can expect from those. But here come the roaches getting a snipe down on one of those Colossus. It dies just instantly. Those infestors just showing you how good they are at defending themselves. This is going to be a bad concave for Crowbar, because he's not going to be able to support the roaches with the infestors, as they are very much cut off. He wants the Corruptors to be able to get 1 or 2 volleys off on those Colossus, but the death ball from Protoss is proving to be far too much. Oh no, the Corruptors are flying directly on top of those stalkers, taking 1 or 2 pot shots. Fortunately, not too much. 177 over 156 supply. Alex has managed to crawl back into this game, but will it be enough? Being very aggressive with his Colossi now that the extended thermal lance is done, forcing a huge number of infested Terran, which spawn directly underneath all of the Colossi. The Roaches pushing forward, the Corruptors doing a fantastic amount of damage to all those Colossus, but they're remaining alive. Those are some very resilient Corruptors, or very resilient Colossi. Eventually they fall with the supporting units underneath. All the Zealots have gone. The handful of Stalkers that remain are taking potshots to the Corruptors, but all the Roaches have gone down. All of a sudden, Alex is very much in control of the ground force right here. The Roaches are left to scramble against so many of these Stalkers. Man, Alex is proving to be... he's just a cockroach. You can't kill this guy. He's doing a fantastic job. It looks like Crowbar is going to be losing that third, but with the Nidus network spawning down at the fourth, it looks like he's going to be quickly back to work. This is definitely not a massive... it is a massive loss for Crowbar, but it is not the loss for Crowbar. I don't think he's out of this game at all. He kept all of his harvesters alive, 52 over 40. Only 1 worker is killed in that entire force, but the resources lost tab will show. I mean, he's down 2,000 resources lost. All the Colossus are down. There's no Colossus out on the field currently for Alex. It looks like he's switching over to the Immortal, but he's bought enough time to get up that Greater Spire. He's beginning to work on those Broodlords, and we can see that 4 of them are being spawned currently. Here they are over a large swell of Roaches, which are going to be taking quite a lot of damage, for extra damage from those Immortals. It's going to be supporting those Broodlords with Infestors. He's up to his money composition. Alex, though, is back to a mainly gateway-centric force. And his upgrades are not one that is capable of dealing with a large Broodlord and Infestor army. There goes the Broodlings, going to be raining down on all those Stalkers. All of a sudden, Alex realizes what he's up against, a Tech 3 force, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He needs to push down, see what sort of damage he can do down at the fourth, and be careful because he's on this creep. He's going to be very much exposed. Keep his units kind of surrounded. Again, this time he's morphed in a bunch of sentries rather than the Zealots because he's got a little bit of extra gas, having succeeded in getting up that third. There goes the force fields, hemming off half of those Roaches, and more importantly, the Infestors. The Broodlords pushing forward without the Roaches underneath to protect them. Is there blink? There is no blink for those Stalkers, so they're going to have a hard time getting underneath those Broodlords. It looks like Crowbar is succeeding in pushing Alex all the way back home. You can check out the mini-map. There's a hidden expansion being built by Alex down in the bottom right-hand corner, and also the production tab. Check it out. Stargate being made, so we can see a return to Void Race. It looks like Alex is taking a bloody retreat all the way back home. The sentries were beginning to fall, but once the Immortals started to take damage, they decided to turn around. The Broodlords once again taking just a little bit of pot shots from the Stalkers, but Alex has to tap out. Crowbar had succeeded in pushing him all the way back. More and more Broodlords were going to be popping out on the field. We can see 2 more are on the way. And once you get to that money composition, if Protoss isn't prepared to deal with it, and Alex wasn't because, I mean, he got ravaged early on. Once you get up to that unit composition, Protoss really has to be in a very good spot in order to deal with it. And Alex wasn't, and he just kept giving ground. He did a fantastic last-ditch effort, took out that third, but didn't have enough left to do the killing stroke, which would be to push in down here, take out that natural, really cripple the gas income for Protoss, and delay even further the Broodlords. So ultimately, Alex, top drawer, hold, scramble, basically being very cost-effective with your Void Rays. It was a very wise decision to get them up. I do not agree with getting up the 2 robotics facility, but that was in the middle of the heat of the battle. I don't know if... I don't know. But you do, because you're very good at this game, and you should keep playing. Crowbar, fantastic, man. That was a great... I don't know. I got the feeling that you've done this before, throwing down that hatchery whenever the natural just does not go the way it was planned, because it was so polished. I mean, you had a very good idea for the timing. You knew exactly when to get the queen out. The Nidus network use was just inspired. I absolutely love connecting your bases with the Nidus network to allow the queens to rapidly reinforce the area, and also to use that tech that you already had to harass and to keep a player that was already on his back foot even further on the back foot. Incredible. This was a fantastic game. I am incredibly thankful that I got to watch it. I'm incredibly thankful that you guys watched it. So if you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary. Bye.